Good morning, teachers. Today I would like to present you with my MBA consulting project, which is Organization Transformation for Long-Term Planning with the Continual Improvement for the Sustained Growth. This was done for my client Finaplast Limited, which is based in India. The agenda of the project starts with introduction to the client, objectives of the product, the framework and the methodology used, the different phases which I will be using, and the delivery and the closure. The introduction to the client is done using a simple timeline which starts with incorporation of Finaplast Limited in 1975. The first unit was started in 1976 and the business was expanded in 1983. This business is called Coating Division, which manufactures artificial leather, and they cater mostly to the automotive sector and upholstery. The Unit 1 was modernized in 1988 using the same transfer coating technology as of Unit 2. In 1994, they decided to diversify their business, and they started their business Unit 3, and in 2008 they expanded their business of Calendaring Division, which manufactures the PVC films and mainly caters to pharmaceutical industries and the packaging industries. The current turnover of the company is 2.3 billion, and their target is to achieve 5 billion in later time. The objectives of the project was very clear from the start, that is organization transformation. This was divided in 3 steps. First was introduction to the change, second is standardization of the processes, the third phase is a continual improvement. This will help them achieve their goal, which is success and the organization transformation. The main framework used for the whole consulting project was suggested by Simon Speller, the management consulting framework, which is divided into 3 phases. The first phase is a pre-consulting phase, where I had done meetings and discussion with the client to understand the issues and the problems which they have raised and give them the solution. And this was done, and a proposal was finalized based on this, and this will help them understand what I will be doing and how I will be doing and what will be the timeline I will be needing. In the consulting phase, I designed the Gantt chart, and this helped me guided me to define the timeline of the project and also the schedule of all the different phases, which I will be explaining in the later slides. In the post-consulting the post-consulting phase is also as important as all other phases, as in this I can gauge my project with my personal review and also the review from the client and company. The methodology used in the consulting phase was using the interactive nature of the PDCA cycle suggested by them. This was the DMAX cycle: define, measure, analyze, improve, control. This is nothing but a Six Sigma tool. But to add on this and to make a continuous improvement, I added 2 steps, that is manage, in which the continual improvement will be managed of all the different phases and the cost saving will be realized. And in automate state, I will be giving the real-time analysis application, which will help them realize the benefit and also achieve their goal of organization transformation. Keeping in mind the schedule available, the project was divided into 5 phases. Phase 1 is standardization of business process, wherein using Lenin's PDCA cycle, I have designed certain SOPs for different business areas. In the phase 2, I will be giving them the strategy for continual improvement. Any change which is done has to be supported by the continual improvement strategy. In the phase 3, I have accounted the employees and linked their performance. As everyone is aware that in manufacturing company, the employees are the heart of the company. So accountability of employees is also as important as standardization of business processes. In the phase 4, I have identified certain cost reduction opportunities and suggested some change. And the final phase, that is phase 5, I have given them the real-time analysis application for their business. This will give them the competitive advantage, which I will be explaining in further slides. The phase 1, which is standardization of business processes, In this, I have designed SOPs for the different business area using the Deming's PDCA cycle. That is plan, do, check and act. In the plan stage, I have done the process walkthrough, discussing with the employees, client, observing their processes. Also, I have analyzed their as process to understand in more depth. Based on the discussion with the production in charge and the employees, I have designed the flow chart, and also I have defined the procedure based on the current as process. And the first draft of SOP was prepared. As the Deming suggested that anything which is done has to be checked. So I have set the SOP for the trials to get the approved, to get the review and the feedback from the employees and also from the production in charge. This was also given for review to the top management to get their suggestions as well. Based on the suggestions received in the check stage and the act stage, I have designed the key process indicators using the SMART approach. Why SMART approach? Because it will give them the specific goals, it will help them to measure their goals and also the timeliness in which the measurement has to be done. And the process was displayed using the turtle diagram, which will give them the holistic view of with what is to be done, with whom is to be done, how is to be done, and what will be the results of the outcome of the process. This is the final SOP which I drafted for the different business areas. This is the scope, the total diagram, the KPI which I have identified, the flow chart and the procedure. Some of the areas has been hidden because of the non-disclosure agreement which I signed with the client. Once the phase 1 was finished, I have started with the phase 2, that is the strategy for continual improvement. As and when I had set the SOP for the trial, I realized that if the KPIs are not achieved and if the target won't be achieved and the non-conformity will be given to the process. If any non-conformity occurs, it has to be, the first step is to do a root cause analysis, is to identify the causes and the problem. So these are the tools which I have given them: the Pareto analysis, wave analysis, brainstorming, and the fishbone diagram or the Ishikawa diagram, as everyone knows. These are the important R3 tools. The immediate action they usually do is to resolve the problem. But as a consultant, I have given them the better solution, that is to implement a kappa process. Once the correction is done, it has to be followed by a kappa process. Kappa process is nothing but a clear corrective and the preventive actions. Corrective actions is that eliminates the detected non-conformities, and preventive action will prevent the occurrence of the non-conformities. The phase 3 was also as important as different phases, as it has given the link between phase 1 and phase 2. In this phase, I have implemented performance measurement system. As the employees are the heart of the company, as I mentioned earlier, the measurement of their performance is also as equivalent important as the other processes. So the SMART goals which I have set in the first, this was then measured and scored using a balanced scorecard technique, in which the goals are measured against certain parameters and the score is derived from that. And based on the score, the rating will be given, and the increments will be based on the ratings which are derived from the balanced scorecard. And once, if any employee is not satisfied with their ratings, or if any employee doesn't get the good amount of the increment, they have to do a root cause analysis of why they have not achieved the ratings and what will be the corrective and the preventive action so that they get the better increment in the next year. While doing the process walkthrough and the understanding of different business areas, I have identified certain opportunities for the cost reduction. The first was in the human resource department. When I was discussing with the human resource department, I realized that the increment was given on ad hoc basis. As this is the family managed business, and certain employees which are related to the families get more percentage of increment. It was as high as 45% to 50% maximum. And certain employees doesn't receive the substantial amount of increment. So, as in the phase 3, I have defined the performance measurement system. I have linked that in the phase 4 using this relationship matrix, wherein the scores and the ratings and the increment are linked together, and the increment percentage are defined based on the ratings. So in In this, the employees will get the rating based on their performance and not based on the relationship. While doing this, I realized that the cost saving achieved was 2.5 billion for both the units if the performance measurement system is implemented in an immediate basis. The next opportunity was in the marketing department. While doing the walkthrough in the marketing department, I realized that for the new product development, the trial time was little more than the normal. The process they used to follow was, once the inquiry is received, the chemical formulation and the specification is done for every new inquiry, and the process is repeated until the test is accepted. The result for the study was this: that 54% of the products required 3 trials, 24% required 2 iterations, and 8% required only 8% were first-time. So as a consultant, I designed the data bank and the ready runner for them. In this, the data bank will consist of the formulation and the specifications which are of the previous years, which I have incorporated from their approved inquiries. This data bank will help them to formulate the chemical formulation and the specification for any new inquiry, as most of their products are similar to each other. And due to this, the result achieved was quite high, that 95% of their product were first time right and only few were unsuccessful. Due to this, the estimated annual cost saving was around 18.1 million, considering the same inquiries. If the inquiries increase, the savings can also be more. Last and final phase was to give them the solution of the real-time business analysis. What is real-time? First, we'll understand that. Real-time data will be data which is collected immediately as and when the process is done. So this analysis will give them the benefit of speed, flexibility, and also it will give the potential to respond to any event as and when it is occurred. And this will help them to change and make the decisions during the process itself. This real-time data analysis is done using certain applications, but based on the survey and the research which I conducted, the best suited solution for the real-time analysis for the Phenoplast Limited was the enterprise resource planning software. Why enterprise resource planning? As it performs the integration of information flow of all the different businesses into one unified system, and it gets the output and the results from one system. So based on the current research and the study which I conducted and reviewed some customer survey online, the best available software are OpenERP and the SAP. Whereas the functionality of both the applications is almost the same, the comparison factor was only the cost. As you can see, the installation cost, the hardware cost is minimal in the OpenERP. Also, the variable cost, that is license and maintenance costs, are also low. So my suggestion to the client was to implement the OpenERP instead of going for SAP. And finally, to summarize the whole project, I would like to say that from the whole journey of my project, based on the discussion with my client, I was able to assimilate the requirements and define the problem statement. As rightly said by Charles Carrington, the problem well defined is half solved. All the project, I'm talking about journey of my whole consulting one, was that the project phases which were scheduled as per my time frame was delivered because of the cooperative nature of the staff of the Phenoplast, and also the top management were very encouraging and very helpful in the whole phases of the project. The main point of the project was to give them the performance management system, because the employees' performance was measured based on their performance and not based on the relations, as I mentioned in the phase 3, and this motivated the employees of the organization. My client was satisfied with all the ceilings I have shown in the stage 4, and also my suggestion for the OpenERP, that is automation, was accepted by client as it involved a minimal investment and also the low maintenance cost.